Hey Nature School, my name is Miss Melissa, and this week we are going to talk about snow. Do you guys like snow? Do you like to go sledding and have snowball fights and build snowmen? I don't like winter, but I do like snow. Maybe probably because it makes everything brighter and prettier, at least for that first snow, until it turns into yucky mud again. But it's really fun to go outside and play in the snow. And does anybody know how snow forms? How cold does it have to be to snow? 40 degrees? 50 degrees? It needs to be around 32 degrees for us to get snow. Does anyone know how snow is formed? So we already talked about it has to be 32 degrees out or below. And there needs to be a small particle in the air. That particle could be dust or pollen or something floating in the air. And a small water droplet will freeze around that particle. And as that starts to fall to the ground, it starts to form that snowflake. Pretty cool, huh? There are lots of different shapes and types of snowflakes, and some of it depends on how cold it is, some of it depends on, or even how warm it is, of how it's formed. Did you know that snow falls to the ground at an average of 3.1 miles per hour? It takes about 22,325 snowflakes to make 1 pound of snow. That's a lot of snowflakes. So do you think that snowflakes are really big or really small? They're super, super small for the most part. The largest snowflake ever discovered, which who knows, there could be more or anything like that. The largest one was in 1887 and it was 15 inches across. Could you imagine finding that snowflake? That thing would be huge. Do you think that no two snowflakes are the same? More than likely not, because how snowflakes form is, remember, they have that particle, the water freezes around it, and it falls to the earth as the ice crystals form around it. The likelihood of that happening the same way twice is probably pretty unlikely. That's not to say it doesn't happen. It probably has. But you'd have to go through a lot of snowflakes in order to find any two that are even close to similar. So probably not. All snowflakes have 6 sides. So any snowflake that you find, there are a couple types of snowflakes that don't have 6 sides, but for the most part, a snowflake has 6 sides. Okay, now we are going to talk about the different types of snowflakes. So there's going to be a whole bunch of different types, and I'll show you guys pictures of what each type looks like.
First of all, we need to thank this gentleman. His name is Wilson Bentley, and he took the first photograph of a snowflake in 1885, and then went on to photograph over 5,000 different snowflakes, which is pretty amazing. First up is the hexagonal plate structure, which has 6 sides and is flat. This is a stellar plate, so again, it has 6 sides, and those sides are broad arms that form a star-like shape. This is a stellar dendrite, and they are tree-like, so they have that 6 branches, and those branches all have side branches, so they kind of look like a tree. These are pretty large. They're about 2 to 4 millimeters in diameter. They're easily seen, and this is probably the most popular type of snowflake. So these are what you're going to see in like holiday decorations. These are fern-like stellar dendrites, which there's so much branching that they almost look like ferns. These are also the largest snow crystals, and these and regular stellar dendrites are what makes up great snow powder, so what people would consider great powder for skiing. These are called needles, and these actually form when it's about 23 degrees outside, so when it's a little bit colder than 32 degrees. The cool thing about these is they start as like a regular snow crystal with flat plates, and then they turn into these long needles. They kind of look like white hair maybe on your coat when this is the type of snow falling. This is called a capped column, which is a combination of two different types of snow crystals. So the first part is a column has started to form in the middle, and you can see the hollow parts right on the inside coming from either side. And then the crystal got blown into a different region of the cloud or wherever it was forming, and then the growth of the plates started to grow on either end. They're pretty cool. This is called a bullet rosette, and this is when a single ice grain starts to make multiple crystals, and they're all growing at different orientations. So usually this one will split apart. It doesn't always fall to the earth like this, and then they usually split into like a column. Here we have an irregular snow crystal. These are the most common snow crystals. Most snow doesn't always form that perfect, pretty snowflake, and this is usually what you're going to end up with. Okay, I saved the best for last. This is called a rimmed crystal, and this is when water droplets come into contact with an existing snowflake and then refreezes, so it makes it look all bubbly and super cool. We lucked out and got just a little bit of snow last night. Our pond is pretty frozen over and has plenty of snow on it. A fun thing that you can do is go outside when it's snowing and have a black piece of paper, a paintbrush, and a magnifying glass. And you can look at the snowflakes like individually. The paintbrush is to move the snowflake around on the black paper, so you can just get one snowflake at a time. But it's really fun to do. And if you guys have any questions, let me know. And otherwise, enjoy your week. Bye!